Here I am, it's June again, so I gotta make a whole long, like 20 or 30 minute video about all my DVDs and VHSs and Blu-rays. So here's part one, I guess. I'm not gonna distinguish between like DVDs and VHSs and Blu-rays. I'm just gonna keep going because I don't have the time or patience to do that. So, yeah, I don't wanna waste any time. Let's get started. So let's see, we got some VHS tapes on the first. Milo and Otis, Final Destination, Sixth Sense. You can see my review of these two. Let's see, Clutch Powers, Random Lego Movie. Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker, kind of a spy movie. Back to the Future Trilogy, everyone's seen that. Better Off Dead, that's a really funny movie. Blindside, those are, Breakfast Club, great movie. You've probably seen most of these in my last, collection. Then there's some that are new. I've kind of gotten off track with doing updates. Let's see, where was I? Bridge to Terabithia, great movie. Dinotopia, miniseries. Christmas Story, Cloverfield, Courageous, Diary of a Wimpy Kid 1 and 2. Those are funny. Dracula Untold, that surprised me how good that was. Dreamcatcher, pretty good. 8 Below, haven't seen that forever. Fast and Furious 1 through 6, need to pick up the 7th. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that's a classic. Flight of the Navigator, Galaxy Quest, everyone needs to watch this. Ghostbusters 1 and 2, I can't wait for that new one to come out because I actually think it's good. G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra, okay action movie, Godspell, I like this movie, like that was actually a really good take on the play. Goonies, Gran Torino, I need to watch Gran Torino because I've heard that's really good, I just haven't had the time yet. So Green Mile, Harry Potter 1 through 8, those are good. Let's see, what's next? Hobbit trilogy, really good trilogy, not as great as Lord of the Rings, but Hoodwinked, really funny movie. Hot Pursuit, this movie's funny. One of those, back when John Cusack was in comedy movies. Hot Shots 1 and 2, I like the first one more. I've heard people say they like the second one more. I will always like the first one more. Hunger Games 1, 2, and I could have sworn I had the second one, but I guess that disappeared for some reason. I think I lent it to one of my grandparents. Alright, there's, what else is there? Hugo, remember that book? That book was good. Ice Age 1 and 2, from when I was a kid. Independence Day, that sequel will come out in 2 or 3 weeks, that'll be good. Indiana Jones 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the bonus material. That's a great franchise. Jurassic World, that's a good, you know, I like that more than I thought I would, you know, better, one of those movies that comes out like 10 years since the last movie, and I thought it was still good. So, yeah, Kill Bill 1 and 2, I haven't watched those yet. Karate Kid 1 through 4, it's a good series, they got worse and worse though. Kung Fu Panda, that was, you know, DreamWorks can make good movies. Then there's, what's next? Lego Movie, this is really good as far as animated movies go, or as far as movies go in general. That surprised me how good that was. Over here, Life of Pi, that's a great movie and a great book too. Yeah, I like that one. And what's next? Lord of the Flies, the two American versions. Or I think this one's technically, you know what I mean, 2 English-speaking versions. Those were good. I like this one more, but this one is more loyal to the book. Narnia trilogy. It's too bad that Will Poulter's not going to be in the Silver Share. That's going to be like a reboot, not going to be canon, which is too bad because I really like that trilogy. Maze Runner 1 and 2. Those were good movies. First one was more loyal to the book, but the second one I think was a better movie because it had better action and better acting. Mir Earl and the Dying Girl. I'm currently reading this book. This movie I really enjoyed. Like, yeah, I really like this movie. The character Greg, he was just like really likable, really funny, and yeah. Let's see what else is there. One Crazy Summer. This is probably my second favorite out of the John Cusack comedies, or probably my favorite. I thought it was funny. Outsiders, great book, great book. And this movie was pretty good. This is the complete version, so it has all the like deleted scenes and stuff. Paul Blart Mall Cop, Percy Jackson. This movie was a disgrace, but I own it anyway. All 4 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. First one was excellent. Third one was alright. Fourth one was okay. Second one, don't even get me started. This right here is a classic movie. This is one of those movies that, once again, everybody needs to see. You know, everyone thinks, oh, Princess Bride, it's like a chick flick. No, it's a comedy that's hilarious. Psycho, this is a great horror movie right here. Like, this is horror at its finest. And then there's the 3 Psycho sequels and one that's technically a prequel. Psycho 2 I thought was better than the original. I loved it. Psycho 3 was just boring as crap. Psycho 4 was alright. Pulp Fiction, I haven't watched that. I got a lot of catching up to do. Rango, that's probably I think this is probably my favorite animated movie of all time. Like, it is Gosh, this is just hilarious. That's a great kids movie. Raised in Arizona, great Nicolas Cage movie, and who directed this again? The Coen brothers. That's right. This is a Coen brothers movie. I really thought that was funny. Red Dawn, both original and remake. Those are all right. The new one focuses more on character development. It was a better movie in terms of quality because the acting was better and the characters were a little more fleshed out. But this one, the original is such a classic, it's kind of hard to beat. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is a really good movie. This kind of surprised everybody, I think. And the second one, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes too, just because of how. Yeah, just how good it was. Red Dragon, the first book, or first one, I think it was the third movie, but it's like the second movie chronologically. Yeah. Revenge of the Nerds, Penny-Rated Edition, yeah. This is a funny movie. That's once again kind of a classic. I really like that one. Rodan, I just got this just because, I mean, why the heck not? I mean, it's such a, it could be a movie I can make fun of. Sandlot, this is pretty good. It's one of those classics that I hadn't watched in like 10 years, so I had no memory of it. And so I watched it again, not recently, but like a year or two ago, and it was pretty good. Scooter, don't even get me started on this movie right here. This movie is the most retarded movie I have ever seen. Like you think, what do you think of retarded movie? You think of Spaceballs, you think of Airplane. Like, movies that are just flat out stupid. Not bad, but just stupid. And yet, for some reason, I love this one. Like, this is such... I don't know. I think all the actors portrayed their characters super well. The plot was alright. The CGI was stupid. You can see my full review later. This, one of my favorite movies of all time. Secondhand Lions. Michael Caine and Robert Duvall and Haley Joel Osment. This is back when Haley Joel Osment existed, and he was still a good actor. Like that, it's about a boy who moves in with his two great uncles, and that he doesn't really know, and he finds out, and he just learns a lot about life, and the moral of the story is that it makes you stronger if you believe in something, whether it's real or not, which, that can be taken the wrong way. Seeker, this is just a random fantasy movie I've had since I was a little kid. Shawshank, that was a great movie. It's such a classic, like, everybody's seen this movie, because it's classic, and I can't argue with them, it's a really great one. See, Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, I don't have the first one. Those were okay, that duo. Sky Captain, The World Tomorrow, okay movie. I've not watched that in literally like 10 or 15 years, so I do not remember that at all. Shrek 2, Shrek is not love, Shrek is not life. Short Circuit, once again, I haven't watched that in so long, I can't really remember it well enough to be able to talk about anything. If you have not seen this movie, go drink bleach. Alright, now I have all the Star Wars movies except the 7th. I'm probably going to get that for my birthday. Oh wait, my birthday's passed. No one got me Star Wars 7 for my birthday. Huh. So yeah, the prequels, those are the ones that everyone hates that I was alright with. Original trilogy, that's a classic. Then there's this, which is the story of it. A documentary that I'm not going to watch. Star Trek, this movie, I love this movie. Like, I was not really a big Star Trek fan until this movie came out. Like, I'm still not. I haven't watched like hardly any of the original show or the original movies, and then there's the sequel. Yeah, I haven't watched any of the original movies. I've watched a couple episodes of the original show, and I couldn't get into it. But these two movies, I love both these movies. The acting is great, the writing is great, the dialogue is great. This shows how talented J.J. Abrams is, and I hate that he gets a lot of hate because he does not deserve it. Super 8, that's my movie right here. Like, when I first heard about this, I thought this was just like a cliche horror movie. I didn't know who those people were like when this came out. Or I knew who Steven Spielberg was. I didn't know J.J. Abrams. Or maybe I did. I can't remember. So I didn't see this in the theater, but I should have because this movie is great. So I got it. I think I got it right after it came out on DVD and then got it and watched it soon. And that's a great movie. Swiss Family Robinson. This is one of those movies that every kid watched, but not a lot of people remember. This is really good. I liked it. Top Gun. This is one of those movies everyone always talks about how great it is, and I don't see that. Like, it's kind of boring, to be honest. Like, it's mostly about the relationship between Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis, and then there's, the, what's his name, Goose. I can't remember who plays him. Anthony Edwards' his character, Goose, who's just kind of there. and there's not really any action to the end of the movie. And I mean, I'm usually not a person who complains about lack of action, but I just felt like that was boring. The Terminator, that's a good movie. That's a classic too. Terminator 2 I don't have, but I've seen it. There's Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. This is when the franchise kind of got derailed. It was alright. Transformers 1, 2, 3, I don't have the fourth one. Those movies, I mean, they get a lot of hate, but they weren't horrible, at least in my opinion. Tremors Attack Pack has the original 4 Tremors movies. Tremors 1 was great, Tremors 2 was great, Tremors 3 I wasn't too big about. Tremors 4 I liked more than I thought I would. Then I have this, not with the TV shows for some reason. I don't have that many TV shows. Tremors, the complete series. You know, I've reviewed this, and a lot of people didn't like this show. I really liked it. Like, yeah, the first episode, I remember I was kind of iffy about it, because it was really stupidly directed, but I really liked the rest of the show. Then next is Tremors 5, Bloodlines. This movie was okay. I liked Michael Gross and Jamie Kennedy, but Tron Legacy 3D. That movie was alright also. The original one was such a classic. A lot of people said this one, it's definitely not a classic, but it probably was better than the original just because. And, alright, I need to pick up the pace. Troy, pretty good movie. I have made like half of a review for that movie. I'll finish making it someday. Vacation, that's a classic. Weird Science, this movie was alright. This movie is actually really funny. Like, I enjoy that movie a lot. War Horse, that was good. I read the book, and that was good too. So, let's see. Every Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can, I have seen. And, you know, the top one, that was a great, funny movie. The second one, I didn't really care so much about, and I haven't seen the Honky Tonk Man, whatever that is. Then there's these, let's see. Count of Monte Cristo, the original, or not the original, but one of the old ones. That was okay. It probably was more truthful to the book. I haven't read the book. Then there's Zorro, which I haven't seen. Then there's 2 war movies that I randomly have for some reason. Walk in the Sun and the North Star. I have not seen any of those. So now we get to this rack, which is all of my comic book movies. I made a whole nother shelf for that just because I have so many. So yeah, let's get me started. Ant-Man, that was a good one. You can see my whole review. Avengers, I need to review because that's such a classic, and I really enjoyed it. Avengers Age of Ultron was pretty good. Wasn't as good as the original. See, there's Batman, which I tried to watch a long time ago. I just couldn't get into it. Batman Returns, once again, I've heard those 2 movies are really good, but I don't know. Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. Batman Begins, I saw once, didn't really, I didn't think it was anything special. Dark Knight, saw once. You know, everyone has that one movie, I think, that no matter how many times they watch it, they can't remember it. I mean, I've seen this movie twice, and the second time was not that long ago, and still I have no idea what happened in the movie. Like, Dark Knight Rises was good. Like, yeah, it was kind of Christopher Nolan-y in that, so it had quite a bit of plot holes, but whatever. Then there's Blade, haven't seen that, but that's the thing people like me bring up when they say Deadpool was the first R-rated comic book movie. Because that one and Blade 2 and all the other ones just don't count. Blade 2, haven't watched. Captain America First Avenger, that was pretty good. It was pretty good. Captain America Winter Soldier, that's a great comic book movie right there. Like, that is one of the best superhero movies of all time. Daredevil was okay. A lot of people hated on it. I didn't hate it that much. Fantastic Four, those 2, and Rise of the Silver Surfer, everyone always talks about how horrible they are. They could have been worse. They could have been the one that came out last year. Ghost Rider, once again, everyone hates it. Could have been a lot worse. Green Lantern. With comic book movies, I'm gonna be saying this a lot. That movie was not that bad. Like, there are definitely worse movies out there. There are definitely worse CBMs out there. You know you're a nerd when you say CBM instead of comic book movie. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, everyone knows that movie. That was great, you know. You can tell Marvel's talented when they can take Guardians of the Galaxy, who no one's heard about, and make it into such a great movie. Hellboy and Hellboy 2 I have not watched, so I can't say anything about them. What's next? Incredible Hulk. I like that movie. I did. Definitely better than the 2003 one. Edward Norton was a horrible Hulk, though. Like, I mean, I think he's a good actor, and I think he could have done the Hulk well, but his acting in this movie was just awful. Mosquito, I just have this down here for no reason. This is a movie that you watch to make fun of. It's a pretty terrible movie, but I like it a lot just because of how retarded it is. Yeah. Apparently that movie actually goes for like $200 or $300 if it's on Blu-ray, or if it's on, yeah. Incredible Hulk Returns, The Trial of the Incredible Hulk. I know that movie right there is Daredevil, and that's right. And this one is Thor, Incredible Hulk Returns. I've watched Incredible Hulk Returns. You can see my review. I'll probably watch that one day. I watched the first 2 seasons of the show, and the show it was good. It was, but it wasn't something I could really get into just because there was no overarching story. Next is Death of the Incredible Hulk. I'm pretty sure that's the movie where they cure him of the Hulk thing. Yeah. Iron Man. I like to hate on this movie, I do, because I don't like it as much as everyone else does, but I still think it's actually a really good movie. This movie right here, the reason that everyone loves Iron Man so much now is because this movie was so great. And it was. I'll admit, it was a really good movie. Iron Man 2 is probably my least favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I think that's one of the worst comic book movies of all time. Yeah. Iron Man 3 was okay. Once again, it's just the character of Iron Man I don't find very interesting. I was okay with the twist. Man of Steel, it was okay. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that. Punisher Warzone. Oh god, my camera is becoming the camera from Battlefield Earth. There I go. This movie was pretty good. I watched the Thomas Jane one, and you can see my review of that. This one is a reboot sequel of it. I thought it was pretty good. I liked Ray Stevenson. The bad guy was like so over the top though. Spider-Man 3. I have the other 2 Spider-Man movies. I'll talk about that in a minute. This movie I did not hate as much as everyone else does. It was not a great movie. It's probably my least favorite out of the 5 current Spider-Man movies, but it was good. The Amazing Spider-Man I really liked also. Spider-Man is just, he's a great character. He is. Then we gotta get to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This original one right here is such a classic. It's one of the, I feel like I'm saying this a lot, but it is. It's a classic. It's one of the, it might not be one of the best comic book movies of all time, but it's such a, it's one of the ones that everybody's seen, Then there's the second one, The Secret of the Ooze. That was pretty good too. Yeah, so then there's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Everyone hates this movie. Everyone trashes on it because it's not loyal to the comics. Apparently, though, there was an issue, I think it was issue 49 and 50 where this actually happened. They went back in time to Japan. And I mean, yeah, it was more childish and stupid. It kind of left out of the dark tone that those two had built up. But this one, I enjoyed. I did. TMNT, once again, this movie, I don't even know if it was original or was it supposed to be an adaptation of the comics or something. I didn't hate that. I like that one because this is definitely the darkest Ninja Turtle movie to date, even counting the other 2. Thor. This movie is, I love this movie. I do. People talk about, they say this Thor movie isn't that great, but I love this. I really like this movie. Thor's redemption story arc is done really well, and he's just a great character. Then there's Thor: The Dark World. This movie, it was so-so. It was. Yeah, it could have been better. But, yeah, and it has probably what I would count as Marvel's biggest mistake yet. And I'm not going to say what that is because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but this probably is Marvel's biggest mistake yet. V for Vendetta, that's a pretty good movie, to be honest. Wasn't very loyal to the book, though, so I have to kind of frown on it for that. But I thought the movie was good. I really liked Hugo Weaving as V. Watchmen, this, once again, right here, the movie was fine, but the graphic novel is probably one of the most famous books ever written. The movie was pretty good. It wasn't super loyal to the book, but it was more loyal than that. And I actually liked the twist they made about Dr. Manhattan. I'm not going to spoil anything, but just that. So then we get to the X-Men movies. First Class, that was pretty good. That's, it was a solid movie, I'll admit. Origins Wolverine, I've reviewed that movie in full, and it was pretty good. But it probably is the weakest X-Men movie, but it was pretty good. Days of Future Past, I have the road cut, which is about 90 minutes longer than the original. And, I need to make a video talking about, I reviewed the original theatrical cut, but, I need to make a video talking about the road cut, because I watched it recently, and, I like some of the changes they made. I didn't like some of the others. X2. Okay, for some reason that's, below. I'm gonna switch that out real quick. Yeah. X-Men, if I can get it in there. that was a solid, alright movie. You know, it was just flat out okay. It was. This is the definition of an okay movie. X2, one of the greatest movies, one of the greatest comic book movies ever. Might be one of the greatest sequels ever. Yeah, the Nightcrawler scene, that scene where he tries to kill the president. Oh my gosh. X-Men Last Stand. Everyone trashes this movie all the time. I thought, yeah, when I first saw it, I really liked it. I did. Yeah, it was a little sloppy, and some of the story arcs were nah, but whatever. The Wolverine. That was an okay movie. Hugh Jackman was great as Wolverine. Like, he is the definitive Wolverine. And this is more of a character study of anything else. Then we get down here to some random TV shows I have. Star Wars The Clone Wars 3rd season. I really like this show. This show is awesome. You know, it managed to stay kind of at that kids level at the same time being a lot darker sometimes. I should rewatch this show and review it because it was great. It was. What is this? That's right, I have this. God, everyone watched this show as a kid. Everyone did. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It includes, like, I think it includes the entire first season and 4 never-before-seen episodes. Yeah, this is the original 80s cartoon that even kids my age watched. Yeah, it was kind of childish and stupid, but we all loved it. Then there's Dumb and Dumber, which I have down here just because there's a VHS slot right there. I have not watched this movie. I heard this is a great movie. Then there was the prequel, which I heard everyone hated. Then there's the second one, which people actually enjoyed. I'll watch this one day or another. I have a lot of catching up to do.